Okay, so I just wanted to go over the basics of Google Classroom. Some of you were able to do the K20 training the other day, and then I wanted to kind of summarize what she did and then just have some basics of Google Classroom for you guys to go through if you need the help. So first of all, go to google.com. This is where we're going to be checking our email and going to Classroom, and you can access all of this stuff. So I need to sign in. Make sure that you are signed in with your school email. Okay. It keeps reverting back to your personal email. Then you may need to, if you're on Chrome, you can actually log into Chrome up here. And that's helped me. I actually have a personal one and a work one. And I logged in there, and that kept it from reverting back to my personal. But for right now, if you don't want to do that, you can just sign in with your school email. If this pops up, it is the G Suite, and because that's the classroom, that's the school account. And then put your school password in. Make sure you're in your school email right here, and then click next. For some reason, mine still says sign in, but I can go here. If Classroom does not show up for you, some reason Classroom never shows up for me right away, and maybe I need to add it. I can look at it later. So I always just click Drive to get me there, to get me to the G Suite. The Drive will actually go over later. If you're used to the Google Drive, then that's something, a whole nother monster that we will tackle later for you to use if you want to. I like it because you can share you have your documents in the cloud. And so if I'm at home, if I'm at work, wherever I am, I can access these documents. So now you see the G Suite up here with your initial. So that means you're in the school account. You can see your email pop up there. Click on the waffle, little 9 boxes, and Classroom is there now. And so it'll take you to your Google Classroom. Now I have classes that I have made for everybody. So I have a lot of stuff here, but when you log in, you should see the class that I added you to. If you haven't accepted the invitation, you may have to accept it through your email or through here. Somebody told me that they could access it here. So you should see the class that I added you to, which this is the class that we're going to use for lesson plans, your curriculum maps, your PLCs, all that stuff. We're going to be using this all next year. So you will have to be getting in here, but this also gives you the opportunity to see it from a student's side. If you want to create your own classes, create a class here, just play with it, add some assignments to it, just mess around with it. You're not going to break anything. WinGauge is actually going to sync to our Google Classroom, and so whenever the rostering is done, they will sync our classroom, sync our kids, everything will be done for us. And so you won't have to get your kids in there. You won't have to create the classes. They'll be created for you. So here is all the classes. So you just click on the one that pertains to you. I'm actually going to create a new one just to show you how to add assignments. So this is going to be my practice class. I'm going to create that. And if you need to, what I did is I added a friend, and then I did some stuff in there, and then I asked her to get in there and type on a document, turn it in, see what it looked like, and then if we could return it, if we could grade it, kind of figure out what everything looks like. So the stream is your, it's like a Twitter feed. So you can make announcements here for everybody to see. You can post that for everybody. So that'll be an announcement that goes out to everyone. It will, if you make an assignment, it'll show up here. So this is where you go to kind of just get a summary of everything. Your class has a code, but like I said, we really shouldn't have to use that. It also, Meet is like the Google version of Zoom. And so you can actually generate a link here, make it visible to the students. Generate. And you make it visible to the students and you save. And so now there's a Meet link. And so your kids can just click on that and get on a meeting with you. It's supposed to be a little bit more secure than Zoom because if you're not in this classroom, you can't use this link. And so this would only be for people with the link in that classroom. Classwork. This is where you would put all of your classwork. You can organize it. You can assign different kinds. So if you create, there's different things you can do. And so like if I want to create material, that would be like if I want to do your OAS standards. So something that you don't have to, notice there's no points available to give. So it's just something you want them to be able to look at. So like if I wanted to put your OAS standards, I would go, I have everything saved in my drive. And so I would click on my drive. I have a folder for OAS standards. And so I would just click one and put it in there. And you can actually create a document also. Like if you don't have it already in your drive, you can just create something for them to look at. You can assign it to multiple classes at one time. You can assign it to some students, like if you wanted to do group work or something, and if you didn't need every student to see it, you could pick the students that do it. You have topic, and I'm going to create a couple of different topics so you can see the organization. Okay, that came out of my head. These are standards. When you post it, you can post it immediately. You can schedule it. You can save it and come back to it later, however you want to do that. So I post that, and notice it says standards and it shows up under standards. Now when you're creating an assignment, if you want to copy from another class, you can actually do reuse a post, and I can click something from another class and I say, oh, okay, well I want to use this scope and sequence, and so I'm gonna reuse that one. That way you don't have to type it all in there, and you'll see why I want to do that in just a second when it pops up. See, I've got a lot of instructions in here, and so I don't want to retype that or copy and paste it. So now I have that in there. Now I can delete this file and choose a different file if I want. I can add another file to it. So if I wanted to, add another document with it, let me grab a standard setting or something. So I've got two in here. Now the thing with this is you got to make sure different things here. The students can view the file, students can edit the file, or they can make a copy for each student. So viewing means that they can just see it. They can't type on it, they can't open it, anything like that. They can't do anything to it. Students can edit the file. That means that all students can edit this one file. And so all 20 of your students would be editing that one file. That's good for group work and stuff like that. And I did that for your scope and sequence, but that's probably not good for 20 kids at one time, unless you just have some kind of project you're doing. Make a copy for each student. That means that each student would get their own copy. They could type in it, they could, manipulate it, but it's only their copy. They're not manipulating everyone else's. And you can do the different things. So like this one, I would make a copy for each student, but this one I would want them to be able to edit, because your scope and sequence, you guys are all working together. You can say it's worth so many points. I'm going to do a different topic here. So, oh no, that is a different topic. The topic is curriculum now instead of standards. And then I'm going to assign that. Slowly. Okay, so now notice I have a curriculum section, I have a standards section. And so that's something you can do to, you can do chapter 1, chapter 2, that kind of stuff. People, like I said, WinGauge is going to roster our kids, so we shouldn't have to add anything here. If you want to add like the special ed teacher, or if you have a teacher that you collaborate with and you want to add them to that, you can invite them to join your class. You can add students. You just have to put their email in, or you can give them the code to join. So here's the class code, and you could just give them the code and they could go to join on the main page and put that code in. So a couple of different options, but like I said, WinGauge will roster ours for us. And then grades, nothing is showing up because I haven't invited anybody. I don't have any students, but the grades, the assignments would show up. Here, let me show you one that does. So like this one, I've got people in here. So when I go to grades, they've got a few assignments in here, and so I can like actually grade them right here. And well, let's say she got a 95, not perfect all the time. And so I would do that, and then you can You can actually return the assignment to them. You can view the assignment, see what they actually have done in there. You can see there. And when you do that, you can make comments, because you can add private comments. You can, let's see what this said. So you have a comment bank. You can return it to them. You can return multiple. So that, just kind of get in here and just playing around with stuff and seeing, what's going on. And then you can change the grade if you want. It still says draft, or you can go from student to student right here. You can see he's got it turned in, she doesn't, he doesn't, and she does. So then you can kind of look and see what's going on, and then you can look down at their document and see all the stuff is in there. So these are their standard setting that they actually put in here. And so then you can go back, and if you want to, go, okay, well, it was perfect, so we'll give the 100. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you've got your settings, which isn't it's just kind of your overall, like I said, pretty simple stuff. If you want to get to your other classes, you just click over here. You can get back, if you want to get back to the main page where you see everything, you can do that. This is where you can join a class or create a class. And then if you want to get back to any of your Google stuff, you always click on that little waffle thing, and you'll get all of your stuff back. And if you want to add some stuff, you can do that. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.